Hello fellow gardeners, welcome back to another episode of the Green Journal Entries. It is about 104 today in Texas and pretty dry. Actually, the top temperature for today was 105 was the temperature today. Yesterday, the meteorologist said it was supposed to be like 94 and it was still 104 degrees. So he was off by 10 degrees. Today being a little bit hotter, and it's supposed to get hotter throughout the week. So if you're living here in Central Texas, I would say stay indoors. Now today, I'm not going to be doing too much in the garden. My appearance, I just got finished picking up my son from daycare, so I didn't want to jump out, change clothes, and do all of that because I'm really not going to get dirty today. And pretty much what I want to show you is what I have in front of me right here. And this plant I picked up yesterday, or the day before yesterday, at my local nursery. And I just thought it was so pretty. This is a Stromanthe. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Stromanthe. Stromanthe sanguinea. Don't quote me, but I know Stromanthe is what it is. It's also, what is that? It's a dead spider, scared the mess out of me. It's also called a tricolor, or a Triostar, excuse me, a Triostar. That's because of the colors on it. The obviously the maroon, the white, and the green leaves that you see here. Isn't that just gorgeous? This plant is beautiful. I was walking by the nursery. I wasn't walking by the nursery. I drove by the nursery, and I just wanted to make a stop and see if I could find something new, because they always might have a new shipment of things coming in. Plus, we're getting close. Not there yet, but it's almost starting to get to the autumn season. You know, with August around the corner, and then September. I don't know. I thought maybe that, some plants would be starting to come in, in those little 1s and 2 groups, and then full-fledged fall plants. But this one here I seen, and I only seen 3 of them, and it wasn't in this original pot. I did transfer it. I was going to make a video on that, but it was going to be a little too timely. So anyway, while I was at the nursery, I could not stop looking at this plant. I would walk away, look at something else, come back, look at it from a distance, and I'm like, that plant is, oh my God, this plant is so pretty. So pretty. I think I have me a new, what do you call it? A new showstopper. This plant is gorgeous. Isn't this gorgeous? Something about the maroon with the green, that look. This plant is a Brazilian rainforest native. Also northern Argentina, Mexico type of plant. That's where it originated from. And so, with saying that, this plant is thirsty all the time. The importance of keeping this plant moist is unparalleled to anything else. Because it is a Brazilian rainforest native plant, it needs to be in a a high humidity area. And this is perfect because I kind of got my little kiddie pool with the pebble stones behind me. If you can look behind me, this here, with these plants over here, this is like my little humidity area. With my tropical plants. And so this plant, I have to make some room, will eventually go over here, and I have a mister right here. I showed you in one other episode I have a mister for my tropicals. So this one here, this plant, I should be able to take care of very well. And then also when it is time to bring it in for the winter season, I have a big enough plastic pebble tray that I can go ahead and set this on top of and create some humidity for it. I couldn't stop looking at this plant at the nursery. So how about I bring you in closer so we can take a look at what I did, because like I said, I was going to make a video on how to repot this and how to prune it back, but when I actually got into it, I found out that it was just going to be way too much film time, and I didn't think anybody would really want to sit back and watch that whole process. Even if I cut out some scenes, it was still going to be a very timely video. And I want to try to keep my videos short now because, well, we all have things to do, you know. So let me bring you in and take a look at this plant. So isn't this plant just gorgeous? I can't stop seeing that. Look at these leaves. So this plant is what they call a ground cover plant. You can plant this and it would literally bush out to I think to be about 24 inches up to 3 feet around. It can bush out to that, and it can also grow to be about 2 feet high. So if you think about this being in the dirt, 3 feet round, 2 feet high, it will bush out. And if you get a bunch of these together, you can definitely do some ground covering with this plant. But I didn't want to do no ground cover. I didn't want to put it in the ground because the dirt here in Texas is not all that fertile, very dry. So obviously I put it in a pot. Now when I first got this plant, it had dead leaves. It was very, if I could show you here, it was very congested down here in the middle. Had spider webs, spiders. Kind of freaked me out because I seen 2 big juicy looking spiders in here, and I had to use my snips and try to snip at them. What I eventually did though was I took this plant out of its original container that it came with, and I simply just hosed the root ball down and hosed everything down after pruning it, of course. I hosed everything down because I don't know what kind of spider nest or what kind of bugs and insects that was living here in the center. If you could see, in the center of this was a big conglomerate mess of leaves, and it was just really congested, and I didn't know what was down in there, and I was really I don't want to say scared, but I was, to put my hand down in the middle of that and something bite me, or I come out with a snake on my hand, who knows. But so I hosed it down, hosed the root ball down, getting a lot of the bugs and insect off, and also rinsing away some of that root ball, some of that dirt, because the dirt that I put it in is my mixture of vermiculite, worm castings, topsoil, and cocoa coir. That, if you know me, that is going to be, I also threw a little bit of compost in here too, and that compost was cow manure and humus. But if you know me, that is my mixture of dirt that I like to use with my plants, those 4 to 5 different ingredients. I think it really makes for a rich soil and a good medium for the roots to thrive into. One special thing about this plant that a lot of people don't know is they also call this plant praying hands. And what I mean by that is, at night, this plant, starting in the afternoon, this plant kind of raises up like this and closes up. I am not kidding. This is exactly what it does. And then when the sun comes back out, it folds back down to gather the sun rays like that. Isn't that cool? That is something special. it's like one big flower when it blooms, and then I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't seen it obviously because I just got the plant and I just replanted it today. Repotted it today, so I haven't gotten that far into the observance of this plant. But I think it's very, very pretty. I think it's going to make a good addition eventually in the house. I'm gonna leave it outside for this time now because of the weather. But eventually, this will become a showstopper in the house. This will be a house plant for sure. And eventually, one day, I might bring it outside for a cookout or something. I don't know. Going back, this plant loves humidity. So if you ever see yourself getting a Stromanthe anguinea, once again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, make sure that you're committed to keeping this plant moist, keeping the soil moist, making sure that when you water it, the next time you water it, make sure that that first 1 inch of soil is dried out and then water it. And keeping this plant moist. These leaves need to stay moist, humid. Spray bottles will work for this. I have spray bottles. You could spray it. And also, don't bury the roots so deep with this plant because it blah blah. It does like a moist soil, but it does not like to be soggy. I don't think any plant likes to really be have soggy soil because that also encourages fungus and root rot, things like that. So be careful when to, if you ever get one of these, don't bury it as deep because of the root rot issues. That deep watering, you think about a pot this big, water all the way down here at the bottom, it does drain out. This is a very well drained pot. I made sure of it. But the soil is still moist down at the bottom. And as far as the fertilizer, you could fertilize these plants once a month, twice a month. A very light fertilizer. Me, I don't think I'm going to be using fertilizers much anymore because I've switched over to watering my plants with compost tea. If you don't know what compost tea is, check out my other episode on what compost tea is and how to make it. You could also type in YouTube, Google, what is compost tea. You don't have to hear it from me, but you will eventually know what it is. And what it is just it's nutrient-rich water from the compost that's steeped out, and now those nutrients are in the water, and you water your plants with that nutrient-rich water. And that is like the fertilizer for all my plants now. So, as far as the sunlight, this Stromanthe likes to be in part shade. It does not like complete direct sunlight. It is a part shade to shade plant, but it really likes to be in a humid environment. So that's it. That's all I have for this. I just wanted to show you this plant. This is a beautiful plant. If you're thinking about getting one, I would definitely get one. Just remember to stay committed and to keeping these leaves moist and keeping the air around it humid. Yep, I think I did a pretty good job at pruning this thing back because, I mean, it was just disgusting up in there. It was just a mess. So, anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to really show you. It's about time to call it an afternoon. I wanted to make this video because I get that good light coming from over off in the west, and I wanted to go ahead and make this video for you. yes, sir. Excuse me. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.